कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरांगी बेंगलोरीश्वर गौरांगी बेंगलोरीश्वर गौरांगी जय जगन्नाथा जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शना जय निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य अष्टोत्र सदस्य श्रीमद अभयचरण रविंद्र भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य अष्टोत्र सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय द्वारका धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौरभक्त वृंद की जय गौरभक्त प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Jai Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hari Om Tat Sat. So welcome devotees for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class at ISKCON Seshadripuram. Today we are going to be discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, the creation of the fourth order, and 20th chapter, Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena of Maharaja Prithu, and we will be discussing the 25th verse in that chapter. So let me share the screen for you. So Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, 25th verse. स उत्तमश्लोका महन्मुखच्युतो भवत्पादाम्भोज सुधा कनानिलः स्मृतिं पुनर्विस्मृत तत्त्ववर्तमानं कुयोगिनां नो वितरति alam varaihi. Word to word meaning. Sa, that uttama shloka, O Lord, who are praised by selected verses, mahat, of great devotees, mukachyutaha, delivered from the mouths, bhavat, your pada amboja, from the lotus feet, sudha, of nectar, kana, particles, anilaha, soothing breeze, smritim, remembrance, punaha, again, vismrita, forgotten, tattva, to the truth, vartamanam, of persons whose path, kuyoginam, of persons not in the line of devotional service, naha, of us, vitarati, restores, alam, unnecessary, varaihi, other benedictions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouth of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Purport. It is explained in the previous verse that one has to hear glorification of the Lord from the mouth of a pure devotee. This is further explained here. The transcendental vibration from the mouth of a pure devotee is so powerful that it can revive the living entity's memory of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In our material existence, under the influence of illusory Maya, we have almost forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Exactly like a man sleeping very deeply who forgets his duties. In the Vedas, it is said that every one of us is sleeping under the influence of Maya. We must get up from this slumber and engage in the right service, for thus we can properly utilize the facility of this human form of life. As expressed in a song by Thakura Bhakti Vinoda, Lord Chaitanya says, Jiva Jago. The Lord asks every sleeping living entity to get up and engage in devotional service so that his mission in this human form of life may be fulfilled. This awakening voice comes through the mouth of a pure devotee. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet, and therefore he has a direct connection with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. Although when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky, the voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. As soon as a sleeping living entity hears the powerful voice emanating from the mouth of a pure devotee, he immediately remembers his eternal relationship with the Lord, although up until that moment he had forgotten everything. For a conditioned soul, therefore, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee who is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord without any material desire, speculative knowledge, or contamination of the modes of material nature. Every one of us is kuyogi because we have engaged in the service of this material world, forgetting our eternal relationship with the Lord as His eternal loving servants. It is our duty to rise from the Kuyoga platform to become Suyogis, perfect mystics. The process of hearing from a pure devotee is recommended in all Vedic scriptures, especially by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may stay in his position of life, it does not matter what it is, but if one hears from the mouth of a pure devotee, he gradually comes to the understanding of his relationship with the Lord and thus engages in his loving service, and his life becomes completely perfect. Therefore, this process of hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee is very important for making progress in the line of spiritual understanding. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुत पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादा सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay, so now we will discuss this verse, very wonderful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:20-25. So the context is that here Prithu Maharaj had his, performed 99 Ashwamedha Yajna, and Indra got very agitated because if he does 100, then he will get the position of Indra, because these are all fruitive activities. When you do such activities, then we get the benefit, the fruits of that action, and therefore the elevation to higher planetary systems, getting very big positions and all that. So when he was Prithu Maharaj, he was himself Shakti Avesha in avatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So is Indra. But still, somehow Indra was getting insecure, and therefore he creates a lot of disturbance to the yajna to be completed. So Lord Brahma comes and he instructs Prithu Maharaj, you don't have to do the 100th yajna, because that is agitating Indra and he is getting into more wrongful acts, and this is not good for Indra, nor for you, not for anyone else. Therefore Prithu Maharaj immediately accepts and says, yes, whatever you say, Brahmaji. And therefore he stops there, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu himself, Lord Vishnu, he becomes pleased, and he personally comes in that sacrificial arena, and he is actually talking to Prithu Maharaj. He is giving his instructions and he is giving him blessings. In that section, we are now reading this particular verse, what we are being given to discuss today, which where Prithu Maharaj is making the statement to the Lord. After the Lord speaks to him, he is speaking to the Lord, and here we are seeing this one. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust off your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotees. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, so here this is the context of this particular verse, and here if you really see, Prithu Maharaj, he says, I don't want any benedictions. Normally, all these benedictions, the people, when we say benediction, most benedictions are towards material attainment. I want this, I want that, so that my material life can be better. But here he says, I don't want any benediction. Then what is the thing that you are asking? What is the benediction? Not, I don't want any material benediction, but what is the benediction that I want? And he is saying, I actually want to hear about you from the mouth of pure devotees. So this is his request. And he is giving justification why he wants that also. So he is saying, when from the pure devotee's mouth, the aroma of the saffron, which is, there in the lotus feet of the Lord, is carried, just like the aroma is carried from the pure devotee's mouth, the vibrations carry to the hearer the memory. That means we have lost our memory of what happened in the past. We are living in the present thinking we are this material body. That I am simply this body made of these 5 senses which are made up of the 5 elements. And my purpose in life is simply to satisfy these senses and think I am, I am happy. So this is the consciousness of the living entities which have been doing this for time immemorial, right from whenever they came here to this material world. From then on, this has been going on. So they say, no, whatever we are engaged in something very consistently, then that becomes a pattern in our life. So that is why many people say repetitive actions, right? They say in school, if you go to when we go to our initial stages of our studies, they say they give some 1, 2, 3, like 10. They say write 1 to 10 times. So the child will write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like this 10 times. By that repetitive process of that exercise, that 1 to 10 comes into their head this one. Similarly, if you take the tables, they say how to memorize the tables. So they will say you memorize it 10 times. You what do you call, chant it 10 times. So you chant it 10 times, you become. So these are all become conditioning. So we become conditioned. I used to give this example very often that supposing in the evening when you have the lights on, so you go into one particular room from a hall. When you go into the room, the natural instinct is you switch on the light. Outside the switch will be there, or wherever it is there, you go and switch on the light. And then you do what you need to do. So assuming one particular day when you are there and the current goes off and you walk into that room, by instinct we try to switch on that light. We know the current is not there. But why this instinct? Normally this happens when you walk into the washroom or something like that. Why this instinct? Current is not there. Why did you do that? So this is called conditioning. So we forget that current is not there. Because of this conditioning, similarly, we are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we have forgotten that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conditioning which is taking birth in the material world with the body made of these 5 elements, and of course the other 3 elements of mind, intelligence and false ego, we tend to completely forget what is our real identity, but we associate, we live in our illusionary thought that I am simply the body. Now, the whole process of coming and being here is fine, that I wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna, so I came here. Krishna actually gave me the forgetfulness of my original position. Agree. Because if I continue to think I am part and parcel of Krishna, my desire to enjoy independent of Krishna cannot happen. Therefore, Krishna very mercifully, he gives us forgetfulness so that I can think I am the boss. If I have that memory, I will think Krishna is the boss, then I will be uncomfortable, because that is why I came here. I don't want Krishna to be my boss. I was envious of Krishna. Therefore, I came here. And when I come here, if I carry that memory, then I will always be uncomfortable. Whatever I enjoy, I will still feel, oh, this is Krishna has given me. Then my desire is not fulfilled, that I should be the boss of everything. So in this material world, he has given us this that forgetfulness so that we can be happy in our own illusory world. But that's okay. That is just the beginning. But Krishna does not want us to suffer here permanently also, right? So this place is a kind of a reformatory where we are continuing to attain what we illusorily thought we should attain. But at the same time, over a period of time, I am also to be reformed, that this is wrong thinking. I have been foolish in thinking like that, and I should transform. And for that transformation, he is sending, many a times he himself personally comes and gives this knowledge, and many a times he sends us very confidential servants. And when they come, and they will come and give us this message, and then they revive our consciousness. So this is important. So they basically, our memory is lost, and that memory is revived by the transcendental sound vibration that is emanating from the mouths of the pure devotee of the Lord. So that is what he is saying. Therefore, every devotee should aspire to associate with the Supreme, with the pure devotees of the Lord. And through that association, when the pure devotees glorify the Lord, it is mentioned now Uttama Shloka. So Uttama Shloka means that Shloka which is very, very selective. It's not any simple kind of a thing, which is of the highest order. Such kind of words, praises are worthy of only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore these great personalities come and praise the Supreme Personality of Godhead with their lotus mouth. And when they do that, gradually our memory is revived. This is the process. So they also say, right, this chanting the holy name of the Lord. What is the purpose of chanting the holy name of the Lord? The chanting of the holy name of the Lord revives our consciousness. It makes us understand actually who we are, not this body, but the spirit soul, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It helps us to understand what is our real position, and as the servant of the servant, and in that process we are able to engage in the service of the Lord and completely revive our consciousness. Similarly, the words from the mouth of the pure devotees are also like that they can revive our consciousness. That is why we want to hear from pure devotees of the Lord. So for us in our Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya, his words, whatever he has written in the various translations that he has done, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna book, and many other books that Prabhupada has written, all of them are having that transcendental vibration which is coming from his mouth. Basically, if you really see all of them, he used to have this dictaphone and he will dictate. And that word, whatever emanated from his pure mouth, they got recorded into the dictaphone, and from there it is transcribed, and then people started making the text of the in the typesets, and then they made these books. There are some nice videos, you should all see that. There are somehow these days people are getting are not trying to understand the initial things that happened. We are now living in the current ISKCON, which is nice, we understand, but we should also understand how Prabhupada and his initial followers, what all they have done to bring ISKCON to this position where we are all sitting, we are having everything in hand. Now you take the Bhagavatam class, okay Prabhu, I will take. What do you do? I just simply take the Veda base, and I keep no need to carry any book. Wherever we simply open the Veda base, we are reading it. And if I have to prepare for that class, if you can think about it, if there is none of these facilities available in today's ISKCON, you have to take these 40 volumes, whatever number of books. I have the small books, the small Bhagavatam set, so that is 40 books. And how will I to find out which verse to use as reference, which verse to quote in the class and all that? Very, very difficult, right? Then nobody can take any class at all, literally. Like, I have been given this verse, so I will read. Maybe I can read 10 verses before, 10 verses later. But if I have to pick specific verses relating to this from some other canto and try to relate it in that class, becomes absolutely impossible. I mean, that knowledge too, that reading through all the 40 books and remembering what it is not an easy task. But today everything is available. You simply Google, you simply put in Veda base and say, this particular words, all the verses which has those words have comes there in your screen. Then you can pick up what you want to pick. See, this is all there, nice, great. But how did all this happen? Initially by Prabhupada simply chanting from his lotus mouth all of these verses, all of these words in all of these books. Everything emanated from his mouth. And some wonderful great devotees put in their labor day and night, typed everything one by one, proofreading, correcting, typesetting, and then putting it on the machine, and then how that was printed, how many people worked day and night to get the paper, store it, all of these efforts, transport it, and then we all are getting the bliss of Krishna consciousness. So this is so much important, but everything started with this Prabhupada's dictating all of these words from his mouth. That's why Prabhupada says, right, if you see, there are times Prabhupada told one devotee, you bring that book, Krishna book, and he brought that book. He says, okay, you read the first chapter, something like that. Then he says, he is reading, he says, stop. Then he says, no, he actually tells him, if you read this one chapter of this Bhagavad Gita, this Krishna book, you will become a pure devotee, you will become perfect, you will become Krishna conscious. Then, as he was saying, he's saying, no, not even one book. If you read one page of this Krishna book, you will become Krishna conscious. Then he even goes down to say, no, not even one page, one paragraph if you are able to read, you will become Krishna consciousness. Then he again goes to say, not even one paragraph, one word from this if you read, you will become Krishna conscious. That is again the power of the pure devotee's words. These words are not material sound vibration. This is important. This is not material sound vibration. This is vibrations from the spiritual world, which can actually penetrate our brain and our heart and give us that real memory of what we are actually. So, you can see that, the more and more we read Prabhupada's books, the more and more we hear Prabhupada's conversation, the more and more we hear Prabhupada's class, we can see that transformation happening. And we can also compare that with, say, someone like me speaking. We have been speaking for so many years, but who's who's becoming a devotee? It's very difficult. But when we hear Prabhupada's classes, he speaks for 30-35 minutes, it completely makes such an impact in our consciousness that we immediately aspire, oh, I should also become a devotee, and we try our best like that. And Prabhupada has made all his disciples, if you really see, each one is a gem of the highest caliber. Where did Prabhupada have time to sit with them and give counseling for hours together? Maybe some of them had the time to be with Prabhupada all the time. His secretaries or his personal assistants, they used to travel with him, they used to be with him all the time. But that will be a handful of 4 or 5 devotees. Maybe in 3-4 years they keep changing, so another set of devotees. So maybe hardly 20, 25, 30 people, 40 people maybe, or 50 people, or maybe 100 people who had that personal association with Prabhupada very closely for a continuous period of time. But if you see his disciples, many of them, they have not even had a physical association with him. But today, after Prabhupada has left this material world, these devotees themselves are 70 plus years old, 70, 75, 77, like that. How they are still so strongly dedicated to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada's mission. Unimaginable. And how did this happen? Because they were connected to Srila Prabhupada through his words, to the words emanating from his lotus mouth. And that's why it said it is only from the pure devotees that such things can be, that effect can be achieved. So we also in ISKCON, that's why Prabhupada is the founder Acharya, and we give him that topmost position. And whatever we do, whatever we speak, or any other preaching, any other which happens about propagating this message, should originate from his books, his voice, his messages. Otherwise, we will not have any value. So if we are speaking on our own, without the base of what Prabhupada has given, there is no use. That is just a time pass. Maybe sometimes some speakers are very good. They speak very wonderful words. They make a lot of sense when they speak. It's so nice to hear all that. But unless the base of all of that speech is from Prabhupada's books, that may be a nice entertainment. Beyond that, there is no depth in the spiritual understanding of that matter. Therefore, Prabhupada always says, you simply read from my purports and you give this one. If you can't explain, no problem. You simply read my purport. That is all enough. Your class is over once you read the purport of the thing. If you don't know, if you can't speak, if you can't elaborate what I have written, no problem. Simply read my purports. So this is very important. The point of the words coming out of the mouth of the pure devotee. So in this sloka, what we are saying, there are 3 paragraphs, right? We started from the 3rd paragraph, where how our consciousness, we are so much lost in our condition. Because of conditioning, we lost our consciousness that we are the spirit, soul, and part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the servants of the Supreme Personality of God. Forgotten that revival. And the next paragraph, from bottom, the second one talks about hearing from the pure devotee of the Lord, and what is so great about hearing from them. That is what was written, and that's what we were also discussing. That there, when what they speak, why it becomes so potent to wake us up from our material consciousness, is because they are directly connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the most important thing. They are directly connected. So Krishna is saying in, I think, 14th chapter, he says, when he talks about the material nature, he's saying, please hear from me directly this confidential knowledge, and by this hearing process you will know me in full. He's saying this. So how to directly hear from Krishna? Because right now we are not tuned to Krishna. Right? Krishna said fine, but am I tuned to Krishna? It is very difficult for me to be able to be in that spot. Therefore, then directly from Krishna means then these pure devotees are completely aligned. They are dedicated themselves to Krishna 100%. Therefore, they are direct via media of Krishna's voices. When they speak, it is as good as Krishna himself speaking. There is no difference when a pure devotee speaks and Krishna speaking. And for that matter, what Prabhupada has written, he says, I have actually not said, it is Krishna who has said. He was dictating, I am simply saying what he told me. So we can understand it in different ways according to our realization. But net, if you really see, it is Krishna's words, not something which is so. Krishna's words through the pure devotee of the Lord. He is simply transmitting what Krishna is saying. And therefore, like in that 14th chapter, that first verse says, hear from me and you will know me in full. Therefore, when we hear through the mouth of the pure devotees, we know him in full. And that example given is like this saffron. Like saffron is a very nice smell comes. So that saffron on the lotus feet, that aroma is carried by the mouth of the pure devotee because he is connected to the lotus feet of the Lord. They are completely dedicated to the lotus feet of the Lord, the pure devotee. So they are able to bring that memory through that saffron and give it into our consciousness, and then we are revived. So this is the process, hearing from the pure devotee of the Lord. And that parampara system, hearing from the pure devotees who are coming in the pure disciplic succession. So as you keep hearing Prabhupada, not just Prabhupada, therefore, so when you hear from a pure devotee who's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, who are also dedicated to the mission of Srila Prabhupada, who was fully engaged. I'm talking about our spiritual masters. When they speak, it is the same. That means it carries that same words of Krishna with the full potency. And when we hear them, we become, our consciousness is revived. It is gradual, of course. It is mentioned even in this verse, it is gradual. But as we keep hearing more and more, that speeds up, that gradually keep on hearing, then it becomes more and more. That haziness in the memory keeps on dissipating, just like these days it is fog, right? If you go out early in the morning, it is very hazy, you can't really see. But as the sun comes, the fog evaporates, dissipates. Similarly, our ignorance, our conditioning, all of that evaporates when we hear the sound vibration of the pure devotees of the Lord. So now let's see some examples like this which has happened. We all know all Prabhupada disciples actually became pure by the hearing from Srila Prabhupada. That is also there. But even other people actually how Prabhupada's thing is so merciful is touch. It's not only hearing, by associating with such great personalities, we can transform. There is one example, I thought I will recall these examples today, that will help. There was one time when Prabhupada was going on a flight. So Prabhupada, when they go on a flight, Prabhupada and his disciples, they carry their own prasadam. You can't take what is there in the flight. They are all this offered thing, and a lot of times mixed with all this non-vegetarian stuff and all that. So Prabhupada was having, I think, this what do you call this, puffed rice, something like that he was having. So he was, the lady, the air hostess, she came and she said, how can we serve you? They said, no, it's okay, we have our own prasadam, like that. And I think so she smiled and she went away. So Prabhupada, the disciples were arranging plates and all that, and then they served in Prabhupada's plate. After some time, the lady came, the air hostess came, and she casually took some from Prabhupada's plate, and she took that and went. Like, that whatever puffed rice was there, she took one thing from Prabhupada was eating, and she took one from that and she went and ate. So this happened. Okay, it's not, suddenly you'll be shocked, how come someone is just taking it. Of course, he doesn't know, right? Okay, he doesn't know Prabhupada is a great acharya, you need to be so respectful and all that. But it happened, that event passed. So later, there was one big program. In that program, one devotee was giving a very nice class and all that, and one lady goes to that person, and then she engages in a conversation. She says, "Do you remember me?" He says, "No, I don't remember you." No. You know, we have met 10 years back, she says like that. He says, "No, I'm sorry, I forget who you are, what it is." Then she says, 10 years back or whatever that period, I don't remember the exact period, you and Prabhupada were on a flight. And I was an air hostess. And I took prasadam from Prabhupada's plate. So like this, the transformation has happened to this lady by just taking association of Prabhupada through his prasad. And there is other incidences also. And then she has, later what has happened is she has actually somehow tried to understand who this saintly person was, and she got to exposed to Prabhupada's books. She started following Prabhupada's books and all that, and she became very, very wonderful devotee. She became a very highly respected devotee. She did so many services later. And that's why she was in this program also, like how we all devotees gather. She had also gone to that thing, and she saw this Prabhupada disciple, and she connected with him saying that, you are there with Prabhupada, and that is the time when I got introduced to Krishna consciousness, like that. So amazing things, right? Just by taking this mentioned, three things are very powerful. One is the dust of the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Then the water with which the lotus feet of the pure devotees, feet is washed. The water which is used to wash the feet of the pure devotee, the dust from the pure devotee's leg. So when they walk, the dust is there. That if we are able to take and put it in our head, we will progress. And their remnants. Remnants means what they have eaten. If we take some leftover from their plate, what they have eaten, we will get that mercy. And this happened to this lady. This is one thing. There was another case. This all actually was very nicely explained, very beautifully told. I think the first story and what I'm telling, not story, first history, what I told about is air hostess, and the other one also, I think, by these were narrated by, I think, His Holiness Indra Swami Maharaj. At least the second one I remember clearly. And there was, I think, in one of the offerings, one of the, what you call offering means when Prabhupada Vyasa Puja, this pastime was narrated by Indra Swami. This is, he heard from another Prabhupada disciple, and he recollected that, and he says, this is something which energizes me so much. So there, that pastime is like this. There was one boy who just went somewhere and took one book of Prabhupada. Not directly from Prabhupada, but somewhere else. Like he took up a book of Prabhupada. And he was in a very orthodox Christian family. So in that family, the boy had his parents, and then he had his grandmother. Like that, they were all living together. This grandmother, mother, and the children, they were all living together. So when he took this book and went home, his grandmother was very heavy on him. How can you? We are Orthodox Christians and we should follow what is our scripture. Why did you bring all these books, whatever, this Bhagavad Gita and all that. So she was very hard on him, like that. Anyway, it's a small boy, he just bought and kept it there. I don't know how much of it he read himself, he just left it there. But in over a few months' time, what has happened is, this lady seems to have, out of curiosity, whatever she wanted to see what it is, she started reading it. And after that, she became so strong in Krishna consciousness that she started preaching to everyone all over her community, everywhere. She has not even seen Prabhupada. She simply read his books, which is basically words emanating from his lotus mouth, what we are discussing today. And she became such a great devotee without even seeing her. seeing Srila Prabhupada. So the Maharajas were saying, Prabhupada, what magic you did, what mercy you gave to that lady, why you are not giving to us like that? That lady transformed so much by simply reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Of course, see, the potency is there, but it is about us, how we are able to be sincere to hear and take those words. Of course, gradually it will come. If you keep hearing more and more and more, it will certainly come. However contaminated our consciousness, it will certainly come. But the endeavor has to be there from our side to read Prabhupada's books. That is important. We need to read, we need to make time, we need to read, and we need to hear Prabhupada's classes. I keep telling so many devotees, how can I preach? I tell you, please listen to Prabhupada classes. Because that helps us, because I can, if I am preaching, I am not able to make such a great impact. But if they hear Prabhupada class and come to me, they will easily improve and, they will be part of my congregation that way. So I always tell them, you should read Prabhupada's books. Today, we should hear Prabhupada classes also. Today, if you see many people, even in the beginning stages, I went and heard that Prabhuji's class, this Prabhuji's class was very nice, everything. With due respect to all the Prabhujis and Matajis who are giving classes and flooding the internet, great. We are actually doing this so that many people get to hear about Krishna consciousness and they get attracted and they come. While they come, they should hear Prabhupada's classes after that. See, because Prabhupada's class is our foundation. Prabhupada's writing is our foundation. And that gives the source of everything, right? From there, that pure devotee's words, if we also hear, then we can support it by hearing from so many other devotees. But the core is coming from Srila Prabhupada's preaching, Prabhupada's teachings, Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's classes. So we should hear them very nicely. That inclination to hear. Now, as years go by, people generally are more in the current world, right? Today, whoever is more known, more popular, more who may be also a nice devotee, no question about it. Everybody is a nice devotee, there is no question about it. But our consciousness remains at that current affairs kind of a thing. But in ISKCON, for all devotees, now and 10,000 years later who are coming into ISKCON, should certainly connect to Srila Prabhupada's books. Whoever at that point in time, let them be giving nice, the classes, everything. Still, we hear them, we have come here because of hearing those devotees' classes. We have come here because we are taking instructions from them. Wonderful, absolutely perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. Side by side, if we can also hear Srila Prabhupada's class, Prabhupada's readings, Prabhupada's books, that will actually, give a complete strengthening of what we are hearing from our current leaders. So this is very, very important. And we have a very bright chance of going back very, very fast. So this is important, that we always are in touch with Prabhupada. Here it's about all pure devotees, definitely. And in our case, for us, Srila Prabhupada is the starting point from our, journey back home, back to Godhead. There's another, another 2-3 minutes I will say one more pastime like this. This is from a very lay woman, there was one time, there was one old lady. She was actually having a deity of Balgopa, a small deity of Balgopa. So this deity, she was so dedicated to that deity, she used to really care like it is her child, like that. So every day she will bathe the deity, she will dress the deity, she will sing for the deity, she will feed the deity, she was like all the time engaged in the service of this deity. So one day when she picked the deity and the deity slipped from her hand and it fell down on the ground. And immediately she started crying like anything. Oh, my Bal Gopal has fallen down, he's hurt badly, his head is hurt and he's, having, whatever, if your head is if you fall from a distance, from a height, what will happen? She was so much thing. And her family, they were all saying, hey, what is this? This is just a metal. So don't worry, nothing happened. You see, this deity is nothing happened. It is not broken. You keep it. She said, no, no, no. My Bal Gopal has fallen down. He is hurt very badly. He needs to be treated. They thought she's gone mad or what? What is this? So then one of them said, okay, let her be in a letter. Whatever she's saying, she's not going to accept. So let's act like, we are bringing a doctor and the doctor and all that. So they bought a doctor. So the doctor came, they told her she's like behaving like mad, that this deity fell down. And now she's saying, the deity is hurt and all that. Why don't you act he was a doctor, but why don't you say, I will come and, check the deity and give treatment and all that. So he comes and then sees the deity and he puts the stethoscope on. He puts that stethoscope on the deity's chest. You know what happened? He started hearing lubbed up his ears. So he was shocked. What is this? This is a metal part. How come So he again and again tested and again he clearly hearing that sound of that lubbed up. The heartbeat of that from the deity. And then he saw this lady. She's a simple, not even educated or anything, but she was saying this, but then these people were all saying this is metal and all that, but how come that this deity is actually having a heartbeat? He was shocked. Anyway, then he sort of said, okay, this is done, I treated that deity and he kept it, and then, this happened. Then, later what happened? That man, from that realization, he immediately stopped his practice and all that, and then he went to Vrindavan. And he completely dedicated himself in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this case, this lady is such a pure devotee that through her, hearing from her about the reality of that deity being the Lord, his consciousness was awakened very fast. And he left everything and he went to Vrindavan and he became a great devotee, like serving there permanently. And I think later he was known as Dr. Baba. And he became, he was fixed in devotional service. That man's transformation happened because of hearing from that simple lady who was not, very intellectual in philosophy and all that. But simply by being her purity of her devotion, that man was able to be transformed. So it is very important that, because they are in touch with the Supreme Lord directly, and whatever comes from their mouth can actually transform our consciousness completely. So I end here. There are 2-3 minutes there. If anyone have any questions or comments, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
Thanks for very wonderful class, Prabhuji. Jai. Prabhuji, just want to know, in the translation as it is given, your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transient vibrations from the mouth of great word carries the aroma of saffron dust of your lotus feet. So when they refer to those saffron particles, your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. So how to understand this?
So what they're saying is that, see, the saffron particles, if you see, that's why in the class I was mentioning, that has a light aroma. So the lotus feet is what you call the lotus feet has the ability to come and change our consciousness. So that aroma from that lotus feet, that's why he's saying it is like saffron. That smell is coming. So that is, these pure devotees are all the time dedicated to the lotus feet of the Lord, right? They say, no, I am surrendered to your lotus feet. That's how we say, right? We don't say I am surrendered to your lotus chest. Of course, chest is also lotus. But we don't say I am surrendered to your chest or I am surrendered to your eyes or anything like that. Eye is also lotus. But we always say we are surrendered to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, lotus feet of the Lord, right? So that when they are surrendered there, that lotus feet, just like this aroma of that saffron, that lotus feet, that intensity of the lotus feet comes through this person and then comes through the mouth of the The aroma of the lotus feet, whatever you can, other cases, right? You remember when we were discussing the pastime of the four Kumaras, right? The four Kumaras were actually what? They were impersonalist. They did not believe in the form of the Lord. So they go once to Vaikuntha. So they know Lord Vishnu is there, but they did not understand or accept that Vishnu is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, but when they went to the thing, you remember this Jaya Vijay problems happened. So after that, when they go and the Lord comes out, when the Lord comes out, they see in that from the Lord's lotus feet that Tulasi is kept on the lotus feet. The smell from the Tulasi went to their nose, and through that smell of the Tulasi of the lotus feet, their consciousness immediately changed. From impersonalist, they became personalist. That means they accepted Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Earlier, or Vishnu was the supreme personality of Godhead. Earlier, they have not accepted. They were thinking, everything is one, that kind of a feeling. But when that smell from the lotus feet through the Tulasi came to their nostrils, they were immediately transformed. Here, that example given is like the lotus feet, the smell is like that of the, that saffron particles. So that's more of like what do we call to understand that example kind of a thing is given. Does it make sense, Prabhu? Saffron smell is there. The smell means it carries, it physically comes. The lotus feet, how it comes physically to our nose, through the mouth of the pure devotee. That way it is given. That's what do you call this, Prabhu? We call that, to explain one, we use some specific other objects or something like that. Like that, this is to be understood.
Okay, I got it, Prabhu. So,
Right.
Prabhu, this word lotus, why they use, Prabhu? Lotus feet, lotus mouth, lotus.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Okay, I have heard this once, Prabhu, like this. I know there can be many explanations, but one example I know is, see, if you really see, can you tell me who created lotus?
Yeah, Mahavishnu from like.
So that was not something which was created later by Brahma.
Yes.
Correct? So the lotus, all other items, if you see, comes in the secondary creation. Right? That means Brahma subsequently creates everything. But the lotus was not even created by Brahma, it was there by Vishnu himself. So it is spiritual. In that lotus only Lord Brahma took birth. Therefore, that lotus is actually spiritual, not material. Therefore, if you have to give some adjective to the Lord's bodily parts, they always say lotus flower, lotus eyes, lotus feet, like that. Because you can't say material things. For example, the saffron maybe came later, but lotus is more spiritual. So lotus eyes, lotus feet, and lotus, of course, is so beautiful, and it came from the Lord himself, not materially in the material world. It came from the spiritual world. So many devotees say, therefore they use the word lotus to give an adjective to the Lord's lotus feet. The body parts.
Yes. Yeah, Prabhu. I got it, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot. And
Thank
probably
you.
this Dr. Baba, what you told about Brindavan, is he still there, or is it like it's a past?
I don't know, Prabhu. I read it a few years back. This past time I read it. So I don't know how old he is right now, or whether he is alive or not alive. But this is a true history, Prabhu. This is not some story or something like that.
Okay.
So he was a doctor, practicing doctor, who got realization by associating with that simple, pure devotee of the Lord, that lady.
I heard a song regarding this, Prabhuji. In Hindi, this song also is there regarding this, the same thing about the lady and how she was just telling that after the Krishna fell down, she was telling the daughter-in-law to just call the doctor, call the son, is a son, call the doctor. Yeah, I heard about it, but I was thinking it's just a song, but after hearing from your classes, I understood that it's a real story. It's not that something.
Yeah, it is a real story. So the details may be like who called the daughter-in-law, doctor, I don't remember all this, but that is the gist of the story. That is the gist of the history. that it happened really.
In the song, they say, Prabhuji, like the son went on to call the doctors. None
Uh-huh.
of them are ready to come because he's telling who is the patient. He's telling it's the medical place. But somehow he bribed one doctor. I'll give you 5 times more money. You come just for the sake of my mother. Otherwise, my mother will go mad. She's really very depressed. Then he
Uh,
came. Then he comes.
uh,
That's something I suppose. So
Wonderful.
it's very nice.
See,
Very nice.
so
Thank you,
he
Prabhuji.
had the
Thank you.
inclination to come, right? That is his endeavor, but he
Yeah.
got the benefit.
Yeah. See how what a benefit because it's I don't know from where the mercy comes suddenly. If some it may come in any way, Prabhuji. No, no,
Yes. See, mercy
unexpected.
is there, Prabhu. Whether we are ready to receive it is our problem.
Mm. So how should one receive the mercy, Prabhu? You mean to say mercy is there, but yes,
So that is our endeavor, Prabhu. That we see,
and
no, in the what do you call in our mm, mm, Damodar Lila,
yeah,
right? The
yeah.
Krishna is ready to give, but I should endeavor to receive it. Therefore, that endeavor is our only thing, Prabhu.
Mm.
If you endeavor, the results will come. But the endeavor for which you need to have your free will, right? I
Mm.
should endeavor. No, I want to do this. I want to sincerely go to hear the classes. I want to sincerely read. I can always say no. I have that business. I have this business. I have to do this. I have to do this. So we have thousands of things to do in our life. So we can keep on postponing spiritual life. But if we endeavor, then Krishna will send the right spiritual master. Will send the right environment. Will make everything happen. But endeavor has to be from our side. So it is all there. All the mercy is there. But endeavor, because of lack of endeavor, we are struggling in this material world.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna. Danda Pranam.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for this nice engagement, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we will end the session now. Uh, Thank you all for spending more than an hour with here in this session and trying to listen to whatever little I could share. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.